All right, hello. Um, I'm doing a video on the Indian plane crash that just happened on yesterday, the 12th of June. Okay, and there were some synchronicities that I noticed with Madonna. Okay, so that put it back in context, Dan. Why are we really looking at the plane crash? Because the synchronicities with Madonna. Because we were looking at 6/11, the 6/11 date for Madonna, and if you look at my last video, it was the 247 code or something I called it. And we were looking at the 6/11 date as a possibility for Madonna to croak on. Why were we looking at the 6/11 just briefly? Is because there was this synchronicity with Rosanna Arquette and her numbers with the 247. It was that number was in GoldenEye. Okay, with the tank and train crash scene in GoldenEye. So 247 was a super duper important, I believe, synchronizing number for Madonna on 6/11. Oh. Anyway, just so happens that 6/11 is in the number plate on the DeLorean in Back to the Future 3 when it finally gets destroyed. Okay, that scene links back with Madonna with Who's That Girl with the train crash. Okay, and so 6/11 is here on that number plate, yeah? And we were looking at all these different numbers coming through here, synchronizing with Madonna just recently. And we're still on that journey on the number plate because we've got this number coming up, the 13th, which actually is today. So today's, again, another good day for Madonna to croak. It's the day before, Donald Trump's birthday. So again, it's another good symbolic day for Madonna to croak on, to die before the birth of the one, Donald Trump the one. Okay, and so it's just interesting, So we have, you can look at this so we have the 6/11 here, and just look this way, so you can just read it, 13th of June, or June, and again we can condense this double one down to back to a 13. So it's quite an interesting, seeing as we've had some very interesting synchronicities coming across here. This is kind of the last number that we've got in June now, with the 613. Okay, that's in here. So anyway, I wanted to just point that out because it's played a little bit of a role in these decodes lately. And let's go to the plane crash. So as soon as I saw this plane crash and that it was a 787, I went, oh dear. Even just the Dreamliner name is interesting, isn't it? But as soon as I saw that 787, I said, well, we did a number jump in that video for Madonna. If I could find it now, of course not. I think it's this one here. This is the release date of Who's That Girl, the film. Yeah, we were dealing with the train, the locomotive in Who's That Girl is the same one that destroys the DeLorean. This is the release date for Who's That Girl. Why is Who's That Girl so important? Because of the title of the film. Hoover. The connection with the Hoover Dam. And we went to this date here, and this was our synchronicity, okay, with the 247 number jumps. Why? Let me just go back to the 247 real quick so that you can just, where is it? Here's the 247. Okay, so here was this 247 synchronicity. This number synchronized with Rosanna Arquette, who plays a twin for Madonna in the film. What's the film? Desperately Seeking Susan. She is her twin essentially. And then again in Pulp Fiction, we have a scene where the metaphysical goddess is reborn. Yeah, Mia Wallace essentially dies and is resurrected in that scene in Pulp Fiction. Okay, so there's a bunch of connections to Madonna in Pulp Fiction. The idea of the divine goddess that has become corrupted, it dies and is reset. Okay, in Pulp Fiction. and we had a bunch of synchronicities in that last video, and we were, you know, we were on this number here, 247, which also tied with GoldenEye. Okay, so really this is a follow-on to that last video. But you can see if we were coming out at 611, we can unclick that now, and we can see that 612 also gives us the same synchronicity there. Okay, and this is the date of the plane crash, 612. Okay, so it gives us, you know, it all ties in together. Anyway, let's just go back to this. So this is the 8787, yeah, the release of Who's That Girl. Check out the numbers here. We can break this number down into two separate numbers, 138 and 24. Why would we do that? Maybe because if we look at this number, we can see it's the 24th cube. So we have kind of the number 24 sticking out by itself, kind of separating off, and then the 138. Now, if we go to the actual plane crash, so I'm going to be all over the place, sorry. The tail end. This is the picture they're showing. The tail end. Are we at the tail end of things, or are we looking at something to do with tails? Yeah? Tails, the feminine, heads, the male. I don't know. Flip of the coin. Anyway, is it heads or tails? This plane crash, let's just look when it happened. So, number one, we've got to remember it's the 787. And in fact, look, it's a 787-8-8. Oh dear, oh dear. So we've got to look at that. We've got to look at the occupants, again with the 24, the 242, which is almost like a 4224. I mean, it's palindromic, so it's really putting emphasis on reading to the center or reading out from the center. Either way, 2442. There's a big emphasis on that with that number. Oh darn it, there was, see, here's the 241, and I don't have the number jump in here. I'd done it yesterday and it's gone again. It's from, probably from the one of the dates that it came into operation. You can get a I believe it was I can't remember the exact number, but it was 241 numerology, you know, like Queen's birthday numerology. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Anyway, there was a number jump that connected back to the Queen. Okay, and I think I haven't watched Decoding with Cody, but I believe, I don't know if he's got something to do with that. He might have that number jump on his video. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to go watch his video at some point, but I don't have time. But anyway, you know, the 242, the 24 with the 24 cube, and then again, look at the time that this thing happens. The 138 numerology showing up with 1338. Yeah, again, 1338 is 138 anyway, so you can get rid of that double 3 a couple of ways, but it is interesting with the double 3 in the middle there anyway. And of course, look at the standard, the universal time, 88. Oh, jeez. Anyway, this is another thing I wanted to show you. Okay, so we've got the 87 connections there with the Who's That Girl release, and we've got some other numbers that are quite prominent, which is the number of people on board and the time that it happened, that ties back to that 88 release date of Who's That Girl. Let me show you this video. I think it'll play it all right. Right, we'll just stop it right there because we can see it. The end of this number here. Yeah? And in fact, I was thinking that was around the other way when I watched it. Hang on a minute. This is why I sometimes think we've got to do these videos. Yeah, maybe it wasn't. But we've got 681 here. Okay, which again, I know this is jumbled up the wrong way around, but again, this is Well, it's Madonna numbers, okay? It's her birthday numbers jumbled up, okay? The 16th of August, okay? Which I just thought was interesting. I could have sworn it was the other way around, though, when I watched it, but maybe it probably wasn't. And they show this all the way to this thing crashing, which, I mean, it's going down, it's going down. See it going down? And then it's boom. Now, look at that fireball. Supposedly, somehow, somebody survived that. So it does make the story seem a bit of a fantasy. And I did have the name. They did have the name of that victim in here. The victim, the guy that actually survived in here, and it was. I had done the gematria on it, and there was a slight match with Madonna on his name. It was just one of the numbers. I can't remember what it was though. I think it was a 128 maybe, or something like that, or I can't remember. Anyway, now of course, when I come back to do the video, the name is no longer in here of the survivor. Okay. And it was some weird name as well, something like Vishwash or something, which I thought was interesting. The idea of washing. And cleaning away something. Companies, international, domestic. What's this got here? Investigation, victims. A 40-year-old British national escaped, sole survivor of the plane. He was in seat, yes, of course he was, in 11A, 111. Nice. And interesting with the 11A because of the symbolism of the upward arrow there as well, like the rebirth of man again with the alpha. So, you know, kind of interesting there. Blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't say. It gives the other dude that died, but it doesn't say his name anymore. I'm sure it had his name in here before. I'm absolutely positive because I'm sure I checked it. Anyway, I don't want to get too bogged down with it. I made a mistake there. I thought that was a 168, not a 681. But again, same numbers, just jumbled up. A couple more things that I want to mention about this, right? Because if we tie back to Madonna again now, what was interesting about this is there's another song, there's a couple of songs by Madonna that have this Indian theme to them. And I couldn't find the actual one that I was thinking of, but I did happen to notice that Frozen, her song Frozen, had the right date and the length of the song, 6/12. Okay, 6/12 I thought was super duper interesting because of course we're looking at 6/12. So I'm like, I'll stick in that date and we'll have a look and see, you know, just where that brings us out in terms of number jumps to the particular date in question. Okay, so if I put that in, I think it was it this one? No, that's the day of one of the flights. This is one of the flights. Hang on a minute. This was one of the flights, like maybe the maiden flight or something like that. I can't remember, but it was the 15th of December 2009, and it brought us out at the 746 prime, which again was interesting because if you click 746, okay, 6/13 composite, yeah, which is today's date. Okay, so that makes it slightly more ominous as well for someone else today. And composite was 901. The 746 composite was 901, and that's our date for things to kick off with the Hoover Dam, or at least stuff to kick off over that sort of 5-day period, 9/1 to 9/5. Okay, and that's stuff we've been looking at with that. Anyway, that's not the one I wanted to show you, was it? See, getting well sidetracked here. This is the number jump. So this is the date of the release of Frozen, her song. Now remember, we've had a lot of stuff to do with Frozen, okay? Primarily I'm thinking about the Titanic, because that whole thing where the Titanic sinks due to being, if you like, frozen, the idea of becoming frozen. The iceberg, the big piece of frozen water hitting the Titanic and bringing it down, yeah, and everybody freezes to death in the film, okay, or in the real life event probably as well. The start of Titanic, the film, there's a reference to, I've put this in this is in another video of mine. There's a reference to Sven and Olaf as Jack is playing cards and winning the tickets to get on the Titanic. And then, so we have this Frozen reference to Frozen the movie, and then the other Frozen reference, of course, is the iceberg itself. But there was another synchronicity, kind of, with the music. And I think somebody looked something up for me in the comments. I can't remember that person's name. I apologize. I think there was some connection, and it was posted in the comments. But my connection was my daughter, while I was watching the film, came in and heard the music and said, "What are you watching, Frozen?" And I said, "No, actually, I'm watching Titanic." So anyway, that story aside, the release date of Frozen, the song by Madonna, through to Friday the 13th again. Now, don't forget, she did her posts with, we've had a couple of things with Friday the 13th and Madonna, and I think there was a connection back to Tupac as well, maybe with a connection with Friday the 13th with him and Madonna kind of dating him or something to do with Tupac at one point in time. And then we also had the posting of the Pope pictures that she made up, you know, the AI Pope pictures with her on, I think that was a Friday the 13th as well. So, and then we also had the Friends connection, yeah, and that's a Friday connection. Fry ends, yeah, Friday ends, Friends. Anyway, through to today's date is with the inclusive date. Look at this. I mean, you can't write it. You got the 10:04, the clock tower stopping, yeah. Super duper fascinating. 10:04. That's absolutely crazy. And I mean, we can unclick and we can backtrack and we can have a look, 102, 201, which is again interesting and fascinating with the actual day. So June the 13th, 201 days left. You know, if you watch Zach at Gematria Effect News, he's always going about 201 and rituals being done on 201, Jesuit rituals on 201, okay? And again, it's the 164th day of the year, yeah? 1640 Riverside Drive is Doc's address. You know, what we were just looking at in the other videos, again, this point at which Doc dies, yeah? And what is the home of Doc? 1640, yeah? The Matrix, the Hoover Dam is the home that we're in, the bad place right now. 1640 Riverside, okay? There's our 164. Again, with Donald Trump's birthday the following day, crazy. And the Army anniversary with the 25, the Cup of Christ stuff there as well. An Army anagramming to Mary. So it's, again, Friday the 13th it's a pretty hot date today, really, to be quite honest, for Madonna. Into tomorrow, tonight into tomorrow. And it all kinds of ties together, and we got the number plate, which is nice. The 102 here, and again, we were looking at the 11th, and look at this. 10001. Coincidentally, we find today has just put out a video about room 101. So this is kind of nice as well. There is a remake of the Frozen. Here, actually, we can just whiz down to it. It's on this page. Where is it? Here we are. Again, this dog, very similar to with the pricked ears. The idea of the Hoover Damned angels, winged angels or dogs. Check out the length, the 314, synchronizing again the Pi stuff that was synchronizing with, obviously Pi stuff synchronizes with Madonna heavily, but it also synchronizes with the Titanic again. Okay, remember the Titanic has the same symbolism as the Hoover Dam. It's got the 4 upright columns, the funnels, yeah. The ship has the 4 funnels, and then what happens is the ship sinks. It fills up with water. The sides, the hull is the sides of the Grand Canyon there, the Hoover Dam, I suppose. The canyon sides, yeah, that are filled. Okay, whatever canyon it is, I can't remember now. I can't remember. Is it the back canyon? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But those canyon sides are the sides of the hull, yeah. And like you get the front of the Hoover Dam almost forms like the bow, if you like, if you're looking at it. Anyway, it's like a cross section of the ship there. Very fascinating stuff. And of course, when the Titanic sinks, it's full of water now. Okay, just like the Hoover Dam is full of water. It's a symbolic Titanic, if you like. So it's very anyway. A couple other things to note. Sick kick, and I think I want to say on those photos that she posted with the Pope, the AI photos, the Friday the 13th ones again, was a Rick. Was it? It was Rick. It might have been Rick Dick or something. It was Rick. It was anyway something that kind of rhymes with sick kick here, which was kind of interesting as well. Look at what's before this, levitating. Supposedly she's on that song by with Dua Lipa there and everything, and then Break My Soul. Again, kind of interesting. The Queen's remix, the Blessed Madonna remix. Oh dear. Anyway, was there anything else that I wanted to mention with this? I think I've mentioned a few bits and pieces here and there. Let's just look at I think I had some gematria in here. There was some half interesting stuff, right? So if you look at the name of the plane, hang on a minute. Let's look at the actual. Just check out this Dreamliner, yeah, and look at this crescent moon here. Okay, and it's interesting. It's a Dreamliner, and then the first lot went to All Nippon Airways. Anna, yeah, Anna the sun, and Elsa, yeah, the moon. Frozen again references, and we've got the moon colors here with Anna written on it. Yeah, just interesting. I could probably do number jumps here as well with these. When I think this is where those. Yeah, here's the 15th of December. I think it was the 26th, 2011 that gave us the other. Let's just do it real quick. What did I just say? Oh, I've forgotten already. Hang on a minute. What was it? It was October the 26th, 11. Okay, let's do it. Let's see what it was. No, it wasn't that. Oh dear, oh dear. Hang on a minute. Was there something here? Oh gosh, I don't know what it was then. It was something. I can't remember what that was. Oh, that's interesting with the 4979 though. That's very interesting actually. Anyway, what was I saying? Look at this. So we've got essentially a C, or what this is really representing is an O as well, isn't it? Yeah. So we could have a 0, an O, or a C stuck in that set of words there. Okay, let's just look at what I got here, because it is kind of, it's marginally interesting. See, first and last name, Madonna, 11460. If you put the O in the middle of Dreamliner, yeah, the 11460 shows up again, right? So we have a slight match there. And again, here's our Dreamliner C, Dream C liner, okay? The 102 matching up with our 10002 day jump, and notice that the 195 in here also matches up with Madonna's full name, 195. And the reason why I had Madonna's full name in here is because it's an 87, yeah, with the plane number, okay. And then the guy that survives is on seat 11A, 111, okay. I don't know what else to say about it really. It was just the fact that it was that plane crash synchronized. Oh, that was the other thing with Frozen. Look at this as well. Hang on a minute. Frozen. Hang on, no, I want to go back to this one, right? Because what you'll see is this is fascinating as well. Side B. This is an Indian thing. Excuse me. This is an Indian thing here. The Shanti Ashtangi. What you say there? What does that mean? Refers to a song by Madonna, incorporates Sanskrit verses as a combination of two words, Shanti meaning peace or tranquility, and Ashtangi, which in broader context can relate to the eightfold path or yoga, is likely used in the sense of interconnectedness and the 8 senses or aspects of the self. So yeah, anyway, it's I call it a new agey idea of, exploring the self and, coming into some kind of enlightenment, okay? But it's just interesting that it was this connection with, and again, I'm gonna tell you what, this totally connects back with Madonna through Kate Winslet again. Now she does a film with I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm so terrible with names. What's his name? What is his name? Out of he's in Pulp Fiction, and he's in a film with Kate Winslet where they've got this symbolism as well with the arms. And again, who was the wolf? What in the hell is his name? I can't think off the top of my head. I'm just drawing a blank for some reason. Anyway, we got the connection back with Kate Winslet and him, back to Pulp Fiction, back to Titanic, and amongst other films, and Reservoir Dogs, and I can't. Anyway, it was the wolf. Somebody put it in the comments. I can't remember. I can't really realize why I can't figure out why I can't remember his name. Anyway, he had that May birthday, so we had a lot. There was more synchronicities with him than I put in the video, and so it's just interesting with this here with Madonna and this Indian, essentially an Indian song on the backside of Frozen. Okay, that's it. Oh no, that is not it. So anyway, 6/13, of course, the day Friday the 13th. Let me just show you one more thing that will. So again, in Who's That Girl? Not in Who's That Girl. In Desperately Seeking Susan, they have the reference to the Eye of Providence on the back of our $1 bill now. If we go back to this dollar bill, again, an old silver certificate dollar bill, which is interesting with the silver connection. 613. This gives us our 319 as well, which was a huge gold connection. So this, again, this particular date with the 613 would tie us back with Madonna, back to the dollar bill, back to 319, and back to Prince with the song 319, and back to all these gold connections. I mean, it all ties together. But I just thought I ought to mention that as well because of obviously the connection on the conventional $1 bill, which is this right here that is on the back of the jacket in Desperately Seeking Susan. Okay, I think I'm done. I think if you've watched the last few videos, you can tie all this together. This may have not made much sense to somebody that's brand new here, but of course, so we're looking at today into tomorrow as well for Madonna now. It just is never ending. Yeah, we'll leave it there, I suppose. Let's just whiz through and just look at 201 the other way just to see what date that is, the 20th of July. So that is also fascinating because, again, when I was doing that last decode, we had the number 2 and 7 popping up with Pierce Brosnan. It was 72 years, 27 days to the 611 with Pierce Brosnan. Oh, try following that. Fascinating again. Okay, I'm leaving it there. I got to get on with some work here. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on another video soon. Hopefully I didn't miss too much out of there. All right, thanks. Bye.